8 reasons that codependents who are in a toxic relationship finally do the step out and leave the relationship. The first one is when the toxic person who's hurtful all the time, all these years, brings it up a notch a bit. What does that mean? It could be a transition from emotional, verbal abuse to physical abuse. Of course, that is a horrible transition, but it could also be a transition within the abuse that you know. For example, if you're being abused financially and you're not allowed to take out more than $100 or whatever, and now you're being monitored for every dime that you take out, and you cannot take that anymore. It could be an escalation in whatever it is that you're already used to, just the toxic person bringing it up a little bit and making it a lot worse and a lot less possible for you to survive the situation. So that was number one. Number two, which is a nice one, I think, is when something good happens to the victim, to the codependent in this relationship. When he gets promoted in work, when he something nice happens to him, he writes a book and someone wants to publish it. He gets upgraded in whatever anything else in his life, and he starts realizing that he has the right to live a good life, that he's appreciated somewhere else, and he's not able to shrink himself down and to be the codependent that he used to be at home anymore, and that makes it impossible for him to stay. That was number two. Number three is, on the other hand, when something bad happens to the victim. And when I mean bad, I mean like a heavy loss, when people lose their parents, when a loss of a loved one once happen, and you just realize that life is short and you cannot waste them in this relationship, and that triggers the whole process, and you get the guts to get up and go, and you get the understanding of how important it is to finally take that step. That is also a very important reason that this separation after a long relationship, when you're codependent and you're used to being in this toxic relationship, that is another reason why people finally get out of it. The fourth one is, it has to do with number three, but it's a bit different. When you get physically or emotionally exhausted, ill, or something of that sort happens to you, you get really depressed, you get very anxious, you have anxiety attacks, you're not yourself, and you're not able to function and live anymore this way. Many people at this stage tell me, well, okay, this is a big hint from God or whatever, and I gotta take this step, and they actually do it, and it's very, very wonderful and emotionally nice to see and to be part of as a therapist. So that was number four. Number five is a bit different in this list, but still it is something that happens quite a lot, is when the toxic person decides he doesn't want you anymore. You're not that a great supply anymore. He found somebody else to do the job. Whatever it is, you are actually thrown out of the door and you are told to go. And I know that at the beginning, this reason for the ending of the relationship is very difficult, and people suffer very, very much, and they have a very intense emotions, and it's very hard to see. But after a while, most of my clients tell me that was the best thing that have ever happened to me, and I'm so happy that he or she took this step and got me out of my chains, and I'm very grateful for that. So that is number five. Number 6, 7, and 8, we got 3 more. Stay with me. So number 6 is when somebody else around you, a friend, a member of a codependent recovery group, whatever, when somebody else does this, when somebody else decides to take the step, the brave step, the leap of faith, if you, I think you can say, and leave the narcissistic relationship, and you look at it and you see it from a close place of a friend, of somebody that you know has been through things that you've been through, and you get all jealous in a good way. You envy the fact that they've done it, and you start seeing the way they live afterwards, that they are free and they're able to smile with the whole mouth opening up or whatever, and they are able to have a good life, and you cannot bear that feeling, and you understand that you have to go as well. So that is number 6. Number 7, I mentioned in one of the shorts, and I want to develop it here a bit. When the narcissist, the toxic person, asks you to go to therapy, and here two things can happen. Either you tell yourself that you are not able to go to therapy with this person, this is over with, I am not able to, I cannot emotionally bring myself to going to couples therapy with this toxic person, and then the relationship ends because everybody understands that this is not something you can stay in. Another option that happens is that you go to a good therapist, one that can help you and one that can understand what's going on, and he takes you step by step and walks you out the door and shows you that what you're doing here and how you're living this life is something that you actually know, but another person now knows and is encouraging you to get out of it and tells you that he'll be there for you, and that is something that gives you a lot of strength. So that's another thing about how therapy can get you out of the relationship. And that was number 7. Number 8 is the understanding that you still want a good, healthy, loving relationship. And I know that that sometimes happen when somebody else catches your eye, somebody else tells you a nice things thing about you. You when you get appreciated by somebody who could be a romantic partner. Of course, I see in my clinic people who do find another relationship when they are in this relationship, and I have to say, when you are in a toxic relationship, it is so lonely, it is so frustrating. I cannot stress enough how much I understand it, even though usually those relationships don't work out, and many times that other person that drags you out of the relationship is also a narcissist. He sees somebody very vulnerable and he takes advantage of the situation, and then afterwards, after you recover from this relationship, then you can start healing. So I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm just saying that whatever it is that reminds you that you still want to love, that you still want to be in a loving, a healthy relationship, that is something that happens many times and actually wakes you up and reminds you that you still have life within you and that you still want to live it, and makes you leave the narcissist and go and find yourself first of all, and then find a good love that will be good for you and healthy for you afterwards. So those were the 8 reasons why a codependent eventually leaves or ends a narcissistic relationship. I really hope this helps you. These are the reasons that I saw. If you have any other ideas or comments about why people finally do it, I would love to hear from you down below on the comments. And that's it for now. My name is Ruth Lax. I'm a therapist. I work with codependents recovering from narcissistic toxic relationship, wanting to get out of it, having a hard time to do it, and that is my life mission. And if you have anything to say, any comment or whatever, of course you can leave a comment. You can join this channel. You can fast forward it to other people who might benefit from it. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye bye.